am Sue Webley. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. Good morning to you. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. I'm so glad that you are hanging out with us on this early Saturday morning for our conversation on the state of Black music. Do me a favor and begin to share this out with your friends and your family. Tell them you don't want to miss this conversation, especially if you are an artist. You don't want to miss this conversation. If you've just joined us, you don't know who I am. I am your host, Sue A. Webley, an author, producer, minister, and entrepreneur. And I believe in the power of words, wisdom, and witness. And that's exactly what Inspire is all about. Every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, we host space for honest, soulful, and often transformative conversations from guests from all walks of life. Entrepreneurs, artists, thought leaders, organizers, and everyday people who are living boldly and authentically. We explore topics that matter, from mental health and identity to faith, business, justice, creativity, and healing. So whether we are spotlighting an amazing community leader or celebrating someone's personal triumphs, Inspire is rooted in the power of story and a belief that when we speak our truth, we light the way for others. I want to give you this opportunity as you are coming in to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Inspired with Sue W. If you have been following me on the Cara Solutions page, thank you so much. We are still going strong, but I am building up the Inspired with Sue W platform. So please do me a great big favor and follow us and subscribe as well. You could also head over to our website at www.getinspired.live, where you can find out all about the show, watch previous episodes, and subscribe to our newsletter, because we don't want you to miss anything that's happening with Inspire. Just make sure you can't hear. All right. I want to make sure everybody can hear me. If you can hear me, to put a thumbs up in the back. Okay. Professor Abdul, jump out and jump back in and see if that works, if that helps, okay? It might just be a little glitch. All right, so as we move forward today, hey, Davina, listen, as you come in, do me a favor, let me know where you are watching from, and let me know what's in your cup this morning. Now, y'all know I got coffee in my cup. I'm happy to say that I have found a new creamer. I do non-dairy creamer. I have found the brown sugar oat milk cortado type creamer, and I'm very happy. and so I have coffee in my cup. My tumbler today is All Black Lives Matter and Pride in a Bag. This is courtesy of my wonderful sister, Allison. And so if you want one of these, let me know, and I'll have Allison make one for you. So let me know where you're watching from, and let me know what you're sipping on this morning. Is it water? Is it tea? Is it a smoothie? Is it coffee like me? Is it something stronger? I'm not judging you. Let me know what you're sipping on this morning. So I'm going to go. All right. Pastor Joyce, H2O, good morning. She's joining us from Las Vegas. Thank you for hanging out with us, Pastor Joyce. Davida, Texas, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Yeah, I see more of you. Texas in the, yes, Texas is in the room. Ice cold cherry Coke. Let's get it started. Amen. Yeah, I'm so grateful. All right, listen. Keep shouting out you're watching from. What's in your cup? Keep sharing, and we are gonna get moving into our show today. So, what does the state of Black music say about our freedom right now? Black music has never just been about background noise, right? It has carried our joy and it has carried our grief, it has carried our praise and our protests, our love stories, and our survival stories. And if you look at any chapter of Black life in this country, there's a soundtrack that's standing right next to it. Spirituals and work songs carried people through the terror of enslavement and into the dangerous work of escape. Blues told the truth about Black interior life, desire, depression, humor, when a wider world wanted to only see us as labor. Gospel rose up as a way to say God is still here in the middle of Jim Crow, migration, and urban struggle. Jazz, soul, funk, rock, hip hop, house, I'm a house head, R&B, each sound gave a generation language for its questions about power, about love, about faith and money, and what it means to be Black and human here. So when we talk about the state of Black music, we're not just talking about hits and playlists. We're really asking, what is the state of Black freedom? What is the state of our imagination? What is the state of our faith, our bodies, our politics, our relationships, and our joy? We're living in a moment full of contradiction. Hey, Andre Lima, so good to see you, Andre. On one hand, Black music is everywhere. It's global, streamed, sampled, branded, monetized. The sounds of our communities birth now move serious money and reach across the world. On the other hand, many of those same communities are still fighting to breathe, facing police violence, housing insecurity, health gaps, attack on Black, queer, and trans life, book bans, and voter suppression. Some of our biggest songs are about private heartbreak, while our people are still surviving public harm. So I invite you to wonder with me, if we laid today's soundtrack on the table, the songs we sing in church, the hooks we shout in the car, the tracks that go viral, what do those lyrics say we actually believe? What do they say we believe about God? What do they say we believe about ourselves and our bodies, about our neighbors and our future? Where is the music telling the truth and where is it helping us avoid it? We also have to be honest about who shapes this music. Black music has always been pushed forward by people this world tried to push to the margins. Black women, Black, queer, and trans folk, poor and working class communities, young people experimenting in bedrooms and basements long before anyone called them brilliant. And a lot of the sounds the church now loves were shaped by people the church didn't always welcome. A lot of the sounds the industry profits from were born in neighborhoods the industry never invested in. And then there's technology. Today, Black music moves through church platforms and through radio, labels, streaming, social media, and even AI. Some of those systems help our people, letting independent artists create and share without waiting on a gatekeeper. Some of those same systems exploit us, underpaying artists, flattening complex stories into quick trends, and rewarding the most sensational or shallow versions of our creativity. Underneath all of this is a question that feels especially alive in this Juneteenth weekend. Is Black music still functioning as a tool of resistance? We know what it meant when freedom songs were sung on picket lines, when soul poured courage into movements, when hip hop named injustice long before there were phone cameras. Today, resistance might sound different. It might live in a genre we don't respect yet, in a loop on your feed, in a praise break, in a ballroom anthem, in a song that never hits radio but heals a whole community online. So as we get ready to bring our guests into this conversation, I want to frame our time like this. Black music is not just entertainment, it is archive, it is prophecy, it is prayer, it is protest, it is therapy, it is survival. When we listen closely to the state of Black music, we are really listening for the state of Black freedom politically, spiritually, economically, and especially for our young folks and our Black, queer, and trans kin who are still trying to find home in these sounds. We're going to ask our panel this morning, what is our music saying about us right now? Where is it telling the truth? Where is it playing safe? How do we honor the old songs that carried our elders while making room for new sounds, new identities, and new stories that need to be heard today? And what responsibility do we carry as artists, as pastors, as scholars, as creatives, and listeners to make sure our music continues to be a place where freedom is not just implied, but actually practiced? That's where we're headed today on Inspire. Our conversation is called The State of Black Music, Freedom, Faith, and the Future. And I'm so excited to introduce our guest today. I'm not holding this conversation all by myself. I'm so grateful to be joined this morning by three powerful voices who live and breathe this work. Our first guest is NaJé Elmore. NaJé is a Gary, Indiana-born vocalist rooted in a church shaped by gospel, jazz, R&B, opera, and more. She went viral with her song, Go Lay Down, has opened for artists like Chico DeBarge, Kajan, and David and Tamla Mann, and has appeared everywhere from Showtime at the Apollo to Food Network, PBS, and the documentary Truth Be Told, which explores the Black church and the LGBTQ+ community. Through her live show, the NaJé Room Experience, she creates spaces of healing, laughter, and deep emotional release, using her voice as a vessel for love and authenticity. We're also joined by Professor Abdul Hamid Royal, or is it Royal? Correct me when you come on. Professor Abdul is a multi-dimensional musician and creative who has worked across church, theater, and performance spaces, helping build stages where Black stories are told through music and movement. He thinks deeply about how to hold community, culture, and craft together in one body of work, and how to make sure the spaces we create are honest and liberating for the people inside them. And rounding out our panels is Dr. Tony McNeill. Dr. Tony is a theologian, educator, worship scholar who has spent years forming pastors, seminarians, and music ministers for the work of the church. He traces how Black music, faith, and politics have always been intertwined, and how worship and song shape what we believe about God, ourselves, and one another. As we get ready to meet our panelists, we're going to, in honor of Juneteenth, we are going to play NaJé's Black.
Black, 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 black don't crack. You can thank the good Lord for that. Black, 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 black don't crack. Excellence. You can thank the good. Everybody I know call me
I said my skin is black, my gums are black, my hair is black, my eyes black, my soul is black, my nails are black. And when I fire up the grill, my coat's black, hot chips, cream soda, freeze pops, all facts. Yeah, black on black is my choice. Sing and lift every voice. All black coffee, black ass tea. This generation ain't hanging from the trees. Everybody want a black book, white pages, but wanna use color pencils. Outrageous. Let freedom ring. Tell me what you mean. It was all a dream. Everybody said
black, 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 black don't crack.
Black feelings.
You can thank the good Lord.
Making these black billions.
Black, 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 black.
Minding my black business.
You can thank the good Lord.
Breaking these glass ceilings.
I ain't bring food to the function, but I brought the plates.
Black.
Brought weed and guards and a deck of cards, we can play spades.
Black.
Got work tomorrow, probably gonna show up an hour late.
Black.
PTO stacked up, I'ma make them wait. Kinda like we wait for liberation while dominating and making millions, but we still shot down in the street by police cause we was made in this image at a high percentage. What about Breonna Taylor, Bobby John, Sandra Bland, Trayvon, George Floyd, the life of a black boy? The list just goes on and on, but I still try to let freedom ring. Can't look at me like what the f you mean? Everybody wanna be black. Everybody wanna take notes, they don't wanna be that. Reparations set the pace to save a nation, so let's have the conversation like black.
Don't crack.
Black feelings.
You can thank the good Lord.
Making these black billions. Minding my black business.
You can thank the good Lord.
Breaking these glass ceilings.
Black, don't crack. You can thank the good Lord for that. Black, don't crack. You can thank the good Lord.
Just a closer walk with thee, just a closer
Get on my traveling shoes, get on my traveling shoes.
just a closer walk with thee, just a closer
Get on my traveling shoes, traveling. Let's walk.
Yes.
Listen, I can't think of a better way to open up. Listen, I can't think of a better way to open up.
Oh
this
my
show.
God.
I saw you dancing back there, Tony.
Oh my God. I couldn't. You can't help but to dance. Wow, sis, that was amazing.
I
It was
appreciate that.
intergenerational. Oh my God. And it spoke nothing but truth of who we are and the things that we are. Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Great way to open the show.
Yes. Welcome, NaJé, Dr. Tony McNeill, and Professor Abdul. I'm so glad that you are hanging out with me this morning. Thank you so much for joining me for this conversation. Before we get into it, I want to make sure that Professor Abdul can hear us. Can you hear us okay?
I can hear you. I can't hear Tony. I can't. NaJé?
That is very weird.
Yeah, I wasn't able to hear you before, and then I could see the videos, but now I can't hear Tony and
Oh, wow.
NaJé.
That's crazy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I can't hear
Yes.
NaJé. Yeah. Oh, okay.
We got to figure that out. I don't know.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes, but
We
I
know
don't
it's
know what the audio settings, how that would impact.
Should I sign
you
out and
hearing
come back
me,
in?
not everybody else.
Yeah, I don't know.
You still can't hear me?
Yeah, I can't hear you, NaJé.
Oh wow!
That's
You
crazy.
hear me?
No, I can't hear you now, Tony, either.
He's reading lips.
Exactly.
That is great
now.
lip reading.
Yeah.
That
Should I
is
try and
phenomenal.
sign out and come back in? Maybe.
Yeah, let's
Yes.
try that. Let's try
All
signing
right.
out and coming back in.
Wow.
Black.
Back on. Listen.
Hey.
Yeah, go ahead and sign out while I greet the folk. You all. Hey, Crystal Wilson. Oh, yeah, sis. And hey, Joy. So good to meet. So good to see you on today. Again, Pastor Joyce is on. Chuck Jones. Listen, Chuck Jones is a supporter. Okay, every
100%.
Saturday. 100%.
100%.
Chuck says black music is the nourishment we need. Absolutely. As while we're waiting for Professor to come back, what you got in your cup, NaJé?
I got some sugar-free Kool-Aid, but let's forget the cup. Forget the cup. Saints, ain'ts, and niggas.
That's more
You're almost finished with it.
I am dying inside, okay? I am dying. I don't see how I'm dying, but I'm still alive, but my ghost is here for representation today, okay? Watermelon, not watermelon, watermelon.
Wallet.
You were eating it in honor of, you said you wanted to get ready for Juneteenth. And so you made a goal to eat watermelon every single day.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I'm trying.
wow.
I'm praying for you.
Pray for me.
Dr. Tony, what you got in your cup this morning?
Honey, nothing else but Waffle House.
Oh,
The Waffle House King, okay?
Nothing else but, okay? This was the communion juice served at the Last Supper. Okay, let the record show.
Wow.
Okay. Listen.
Oh, I can verify that because I was there. So
Oh, wow.
As the elder statesman, I can verify that it was indeed. Yeah.
Professor, can you hear all of us now?
Yes, I can. I'm so happy about it.
Yay! We're so happy about that. What you got
The
in your cup this
watermelon
morning?
challenge, Waffle House.
What you got?
Representing the black bourgeoisie, we're featuring. Come on now, let's keep it 100. We're doing La Croix Sunshine.
Okay.
Yeah.
La Croix.
La Croix
La Croix.
Sunshine.
La
Right.
Croix.
There you go.
I'm gonna call it that from now on. La Croix.
Or
Every
my
black
cousin.
person's favorite drink.
Yeah, LaCroix. That's what you know. If I'm at home with my cousins. Yeah. So.
Thank you all for sharing what you're sipping on. So let's get into our conversation. When you hear the question, what does the state of Black music say about our freedom right now, politically, spiritually, and especially for queer and younger folks? What comes up for you today? NaJé, I will start with you, then we'll go to Professor Abdul and then Dr. Tony.
What does it say? It says a lot. I think for me, the state of Black music right now is speaking truth to ourselves. I think the art at the current moment, it's no more hiding behind the lyric. There's no hiding behind the lyrics right now. I feel that it is pure transparency. That's what it is right now. Transparency in all the genres. Transparency.
Thank you for that, Professor Abdul.
I think these are the days of the absence of pretense, a certain dissatisfaction with the notion of the beautiful and the artful being enough. I think that our artistry, our music, our forms of creation and creating are demanding for us a kind of, as NaJé said so beautifully, a kind of transparency and willingness to say the hard things, not just to present things artfully, but to speak the capital T truth to ourselves and other people. It's not just enough to be sort of reactive or responsive. I mean, now art, as it always has done, must go to the next level and tell the truth.
Yeah. Thank you. Dr. Tony?
My response to that, Pastor Sue, is it depends on who's speaking or singing, is what Black music is saying. It depends on who we open ourselves up to listen to. Because there's so many narratives that are being portrayed out there in and through our music. Narratives that we own rightfully and narratives that have been co-opted by other folks. So I think this is the time for us to be more discerning, because so much is being said, and I think now more than ever am I being made aware of how ingenious and how valuable our music is, because everybody borrows from it. And it seems like it is the source of all of these various forms of music that I didn't know generated from us. Country music, came from us. And all of these other art forms that have Black folks have attributed to, and we are amazing. But I think it depends on who is speaking or who is singing, because anything that you want to hear is available. Okay, the narratives that agree with your belief system, they're out there. You just have to go find what speaks to you. But I'm hearing more and more resilience and protest It's especially in church music. I'm encouraged by that. I think we need more. Um, so yeah, it depends on who's talking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's so good. Thank you for giving that all of you giving this layered picture, right, of transparency and authenticity and where you see hope, Dr. Tony, then where you see hope, especially in the music that's coming out of the church. We're going to talk a little bit more about those that music and those lyrics a little bit later. But NaJé, I want to zoom in on you for a little bit. You have said, because talking about gospel, right? So you said you'll lead worship and sing gospel, but you don't necessarily consider yourself a gospel artist. So, how do you describe what you do, and why is that distinction important to you?
I think society forces you into a lane. When society gets comfortable with a sound that they think works best for you, they choose to put you in that lane. And at times, it condenses the gift that you have. And so when I say I lead worship, we know that I do. We know that I sing gospel, but I do not want to be referred to as a gospel artist because then limitations become forefront. And I am not allowed to do anything outside of leading worship and singing gospel. Even if it comes to singing about love in an intimate way, I would be thrown to the wolves because I've done that because society has placed me in a category. And so I pride myself on saying I am not that, not because I don't like it, but because of the limitations. And I think for me as an artist, I am really artful. There are a lot of components to me. I've realized, I mean, literally, um, I've sat with this and I've asked myself, I've sat with God, I've literally had conversations with my ancestors on what is it? What is it about my voice uh, that makes your grandma want to come and make a request for me to sing, but then turn around and your child wants to sit next to me so that I can sing to them something that relates, right? Sometimes it's difficult to have what I now consider that healing component, where it goes from not just being able to sing as an artist and bring in art, but there's a subject to the art, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
The healing component is I'm able to do that through gospel. I'm able to do it through R&B. I'm able to do it through jazz. I'm not stuck in that one place. So I hope that really answers your question, is that I really I don't like the limitations
Mhm.
from that title of being a gospel artist. My art transcends past just God.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Thinking about, even thinking about language, right? How we separate gospel and secular and mainstream, right? Where all of it, I believe, comes from the same source. It all comes from the same place. So I want to talk a little bit about what our songs are actually teaching us. So this is open to the panel. We'll start with you, Dr. Tony. If we highlighted the songs our community sings the most, right, on Sunday mornings, at concerts, at parties, online, what would those lyrics say we actually believe, especially about God, ourselves, our bodies, about love? What would those lyrics say we believe?
You know, I often say we sing what we believe, and we believe what we sing. I think that the songs that communities adopt locally, denominationally, culturally, are those songs that speak to where they are at that time and continue to speak through them to them across time. Uh, as you ask that question, Pastor Sue, I think about those songs that I heard as a child in Oak Grove AME Zion Church that were not in the AME Zion hymnal. Okay, those songs that our community carried from the generations before I even was thought about. That when I go back home to Oak Grove AME Zion Church, they're still singing those songs. Okay. And so that to me becomes a part of that cultural repertoire of music for Oak Grove AME Zion Church and for the Black church in general. Um, and so I think it's critical to look at the lyrics and the words of those songs that stick with people, stick with communities. Okay, those songs that I can walk into almost any Black church, and if I start it, they'll pick it up, whether they know me or not. They know the song. Okay, those songs, and I mean, I'm thinking about Total Praise. You know, we just lost Richard Smallwood. That is an intercultural kind of movement. It is a movement. That song itself is a movement that began as a song that was on on his Adoration album that was supposed to have been a one-time choir project. And 20 plus years later, it has been translated in multiple languages, and everybody sings it. You know, and that can be said again for denominations and for churches individually. But I think the words of the songs that stick with a community speak to that community in a particular way, where that a community adopts that song. Like, this is us. This speaks to what we believe. This speaks to a collective experience of who God is. And that's why it stays with that particular group. It's like, this is our theology set to music right here. This is what we believe. We can get with this. And so we continue to sing it, and we continue to pass those songs on. So I would say, you know, we need to think about what those songs are for our local churches and for our denominations and for our culture as a whole, and continue to add to that repertoire of songs that we can sing together at any given time and in any given location.
I would also like to just sort of say that one of the things that I'm putting on my sort of sociology, anthropology head right now is that even as we progress and move forward, often Black American music is also asked to do something that very few other musics or art forms are asked to do, and that is to erase as it is moving forward. To sort of take the bricks from the bottom of the wall, as we are learning different things about ourselves, as we are as foundational Americans, as we are people of the diaspora, people of the global majority, creating and co-creating and also celebrating. I think that things like orthodoxy is almost a curse word. I think that to Dr. T's point, I find it quite refreshing to know where I am when I go to a space, whether I agree with it or not. And I think that agreement cannot be the litmus test of what we have. I think that we are a complicated and diverse people. I think that orthodoxy and diversities have to somehow be in conversation with one another. How did we get here? Well, we won't know that if we keep erasing the steps behind us in order to present in a contemporary way. The Negro spiritual, the ring shout, early hip hop, the language that we use to describe our world and ourselves through the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s in popular music, the codes that we hid within those things. I feel like we also ask our art to do, when you talk about sort of the lyric, we are sometimes asked to have our art carry an awful lot. Like everything has to acknowledge everything before it, has to sort of acknowledge everything that's happening right now, and has to also do this Afrofuturistic thing, which is just, it's not fair in a certain kind of way, because all art uh, is a time capsule in a certain kind of way. Uh, of the people, the places, the food, the clothing, the influences, the politics, the theologies, plural. Even as as a Muslim uh, one who is, I am culturally and experientially Pentecostal. I am theologically Muslim. So there is no music in the masjid. There is no music in the mosque. But one of the things I know is that, like, when I'm online, or my favorite song is Dorinda Clark Cole's "I'm Still Here," because I read into the lyric of that, not just a kind of spiritual thing, but it involves my politics, my family, my own longing for myself, my personal, what I call belligerent resistance, all of those things in that lyric. Um, all of that stands right next to the word of faith, the new thought, the I am one with God, the all of that stuff. It is all happening. It's everything, everywhere, all at
Yes.
once. And to require one thing like NaJé's work, or an arrangement that Dr. T does, or anything that I might do, to somehow carry the burden of everything, I think is not fair. Right? I think that we have to somehow find a way to acknowledge our orthodoxies and our diversities.
Mm.
I I so agree with both of these aspects. And I think for me, you brought up a key point, Professor, when speaking on how we are somewhat, it's almost like a charge that we have to carry everything when it comes to this thing called music. And it has to be presented. One thing that I learned was, it's hard. It's sometimes hard as an artist when you are coming up with an arrangement, right? And you want to get music out, but you don't know directly who that audience is. You're trying to get everybody. So what do? You try to pile everything that you think you might know into this one song, and then that song becomes overcrowded. It becomes very noisy.
Mm.
And I'm not talking about the musical components, I'm talking about the lyrics, to where
Mm.
people then cannot understand exactly what the message is. And so we're doing nothing but confusing the people even more. So then it comes to the fact where people have to pinpoint that one line that speaks to them, and right then and there they decide how they'll carry the rest of the song. Um,
Mm.
when you talk about the lyrics, I am heavy on context. So when you talk about Negro spirituals, when you talk about hymns, when you talk about the sacred songs of just the church, let's just say just the church, I literally talk through lyrics. I am not a fan of Amazing Grace. Okay. I don't like to sing that song. There are some key components that I like in the song, but I don't specifically like to sing it. But it is a demand from those who are of that time where Amazing Grace still rings loud for them. And so when you talk about the orthodoxy and hip hop being able to have a conversation, it is needed, because I think that brings me to this point of reframing hymns. there's nothing wrong with changing the lyrics. Look how far we have come to where it's always been him, and now some people are bold enough to now incorporate them, they, she, as it pertains to God. So I think that there does have to be a conversation. I agree with orthodoxy must have a conversation with hip hop when you're speaking about the lyrics and the language of Black music.
Yes. This is so rich. I want to. You do something a lot, NaJé, when you are leading worship, right? You will bring in an R&B song. You'll bring in a pop song, right? Talk to us a little bit about that. Why do you do that, and why is it that important for you to do?
For me, I want people to understand that God is really in everything. I don't understand sometimes, and I get confused the limitations that we put on God. Um, one of my two of my favorite songs to sing, and I love I love singing it in clubs, but it's a worship song to me. I love singing "If Only You Knew" by Patti LaBelle. To me, that is a love song to God. It is a worship song. I also find "Message" in "Whip Appeal" by Babyface. To me, that's an affirmation. That's me being reminded that whatever I want, it is all right. It is all right. And that is why I merge. You know, we listen to music based off our emotions. If you are sad, and let's just say you messing with a side nigga, huh? You go and you pick up Shirley Murdoch as we lay. Okay. And you soak in that, right? Because it feeds that emotion. When you need reassurance, what do people do? They play gospel songs because it feeds that emotion. When you're mad, you'll find that rap or that hip hop song that speaks to that emotion, and you soak in it. But for me, bringing them all in the room is that conversation that Professor talks about. Bringing them all together, me helping you to realize that at the end of the day, God is still there, no matter what you're listening to, no matter how you're feeling. I think that it is important. It's really important to show every aspect of God.
Hmm. Hmm. Thank you for sharing. Anyone want to add to that?
I'd like to ask, since you all are doing, I mean, I'm speaking historically as one who did praise and worship and did church music and did all of that. Uh, I I'm a person who I don't like open floor plans in houses, for instance, because I want to know where I am. Uh, those things are important for me. How do we create? Um, I'm challenged by a couple of things, not even in disagreement, but I'm challenged by the process by which we make movement forward. I I'm understanding that, and I said this to I don't you guys know Kurt Carr was just honored in Dallas 2 or 3 days ago. Huge celebration, 200 voice choir, 60-piece orchestra in the symphony hall, like up to the tears and all of that. And some of the artists were struggling with some of the tempos for the songs, and were trying to move the choir and the orchestra and the conductor forward. One might say that the conductor could have kept a better eye on some of the artists and informed the rest of the ensemble. But you cannot move a cruise ship the same way that you move a speedboat. And so, what are the processes by which we have these revelatory moments that are viable and important? And how do we, where it is, I hate the word appropriate, appropriate or necessary, inform inform the persons, the congregations, our places of accountability. How do we do that? I mean, for instance, I think the primary question would be, what is the gathering for? What is the culture? Tony, you talked about this a little bit, but like, where are we? Who is this group of people, and what do they view as praise and worship? What do they view as the sacred or the profane? What do they view? And holding those things, that orthodoxy, with the diversity of expression that you talked about, NaJé. So my question are, like, have you guys had any experience with uh, moving communities through forward, introducing them, like, points of tension, places where, um, to keep the wall from crumbling, it was easier just to keep the bricks in their place, and then to maybe introduce some other things.
Yeah, for me, Professor, the congregation cannot move before the leadership. I think it has to start there. The pastor, the minister of music, the worship committee, the music, whoever the authorities that may be in a particular setting, they've got to see the vision. They've got to understand the interconnection between these musics, as you said earlier, and that God resides in that, and be willing to create space in Bible study, for teaching, okay, for storytelling, and the telling of our story in song, and as well as how music has evolved for us as Black folks, and that it's only right that we bring this music together in God's house. Um, you know, some folks will be threatened by it, but that's what leadership is there for, to unpack. No, it's okay for us to connect, for orthodoxy in hip hop to be in communication. Of course, we want to make sure that whatever lyrics that we employ are not offensive or not degrading to any particular person or group of persons in our congregations. But I think it starts with the leadership. And if you don't have a pastor or a music minister who is open to exploring the very things that you just described so beautifully, the congregation's not going anywhere. Congregations only grow as far as the leadership.
That is all factual. Um, I have been that person who has had the privilege and the storm of moving, trying to help move a congregation, a church. And leadership is important, but it also takes, and this might sound crazy, but if you have leadership that doesn't listen to anything but 1997 Walter Hawkins or Mahalia, these are the songs that are played before service every morning. It makes it difficult. It winds down to that when you're wanting to progress, but from the sound tech to the whoever sets up the music in the morning before service even starts is still playing a certain type of music. This is what the ears are hearing every Sunday morning. This is what they're hearing, right? I have been in a place, I went and sung for a church in Dallas, and they are through and through conservative Baptists, through and through conservative Baptists, right? But what I have learned to do as an artist, and this applies to the church and to the club, because people like to make a difference, this applies. You've got to know how to read the room. You have got to learn how to read the room because that will help you. I went to this church and I knew that they were strictly Baptist because I always ask whenever I go anywhere to, sing, hey, tell me about the church, the place, how the people respond, what do they look for? They told me, so I started off with a hymn to grab their attention. And I slowly took them on a ride to where we traveled in time. That is a gift. That's not something that's easy to learn. I take it as a gift. And this pastor ended up saying, I really would love for you to come because you literally taught our kids a hymn while respecting those who love hymns, while respecting our foundation, because this is what we know. And all I did was took the time to walk them through, and I changed the tempo. I took out the organ and just kept the rhythm section. I took out the piano and just kept the rhythm section so that I could grab the attention of the younger generation that was in the room. Told them exactly what I wanted. And I sung the hymn to a different rhythmic pattern. It takes the gift of reading the room, it takes the leadership that Dr. Tony talks about. It takes them wanting it. It takes them not wanting to be a hindrance.
Can you also, my question also is like, I think the hard conversations, like having the hard conversations, ideology and theology, right? Culture, uh, what are we actually doing? What do we mean? Like definitions. When I was a director of music, um, I have an idea of what I mean when I say worship, but what is the lexicon of understanding of the place that I'm in with worship? Like we assume that we know what we mean when we say praise and worship. Everybody assumes that praise is the fast one and worship is the slow one. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it's there are all of these sort of like collapsed understandings that have just become sort of shorthand, sort of in a sloppy way, though, particularly now. Um, what is the idea of and the purpose of in a particular denominational setting of a gendered of a differently gendered or gendered neutral engagement with the divine? How does that work in classic Pentecostalism? How does that work within Pentecostalism when you are classic apostolic and somebody comes in and sings God in three persons? It's not just tone deaf about the beat or the rhythm section. It's not understanding that within our diversities there are these orthodoxies, and how do we honor and acknowledge that while things can and should change, part of that is also being anchored and understanding how we got to where we are, and whether or not we're ready to have those conversations. I mean, really have them. Like, who do we actually think God is? I mean, to be absolutely honest with you, like, da 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 da, nothing you ask will be denied. God will take care of you. Really? I mean, to ask the underlying theological questions about, how these things actually work and why they worked before, and maybe why some of them don't work now. Maybe we've outlived some of the lyric. Maybe our collective experience has taken us somewhere. I'm interested to hear, eat that watermelon, sibling, eat that watermelon. I see you. I'm so encouraged by that.
It was the last piece. It was the last one, and I took that damn thing like a champ.
You did well. You did well. Can we just celebrate you for a minute? Awesome. Well done.
Professor Abdul, but before our other panelists respond to that, I love what you say about what does the song say you believe about God, right? Do you believe that God walks with you like he walked in the garden, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? And God is ever present. God is near. God is not so high and lifted up that he can't touch us right at the level, right at the point of our need. Or do you believe that God is this person? Like, if we don't act right, if we don't live right, then God is going to put us in hell. Like what does the song you were singing make? have you believe about God and yourself? Do you believe that you're fearfully, wonderfully made? Do you believe you're a filthy rag? Like what what do those songs say? What we believe about ourselves and believe about God, right?
I
And
know
not and
one
not
thing, I'm not a
right,
damn wretch. I know that
Well,
much. I am
I'm not
not
a
a
filthy
damn
rag.
wretch.
right.
I'm not a
But
filthy
right.
wretch.
But when you do that theology, then that follows. That has to. I mean, it's not just a talking point now. Now we are beginning to either to deconstruct and then reconstruct theologies, right?
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, I did it when I became a Muslim. There was no greater statement than leaving the Black Pentecostal Church as an ordained elder and taking my Shahada as a Muslim. I clearly have a theological and ideological shift. Having said that, uh, at about 176 BPM, I'm still hitting the floor. I mean, I'm still hitting the
Virginia.
floor because part of my resistance to the binaries at all is that I refuse to stop being who I was to be who I am necessarily. I don't
Mm.
it this kenosis, we're always connoting, right? But how can you connote, how can you surrender something that has not actually been constituted? And part of my
Mm.
foundation is as a Black Baptist, New Thought, Apostolic, La ilaha illallah, all of it together, everything all at once. And don't ask me to stop speaking in tongues and don't ask me to stop shouting. But when you get underneath that and you find out what I actually believe about who God is, and who Jesus is, the songs that I now write for the choir, as I'm asked to do it, are different. I write different gospel songs because my engagement with them is different today. So
I definitely I agree with that. Wholeheartedly. This is really a good ass conversation. Because I mean I'm serious because these are not regular conversations. These are the things that people don't want to talk about because everybody is afraid to be cross-examined within
mm,
self.
mm,
That's why we deter from these conversations. But I love these type of conversations because, yeah, I I'm I love a good hymn, and I will sing it in a club in a minute, especially if I am told that it is needed. Um, don't ask me to separate who I am as a
Mhm.
Mahalia singing child, right? From who I am now. Don't ask me to separate that because they go together. They
mm,
go together. I still sing soon I will be done because the person who I am now still has hope that
mm,
soon I will be done with the troubles of this world. Don't ask me not to sit in that. You hear songs like Black. Black sounds churchy because Black has a choir. I love choirs. Don't ask me not to include it because I'm going to some element of that church. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear it. And I think that that is the biggest thing. It goes back to the limitations. Everybody wants you, oh, if you sing in a club, we don't want to hear church because you in a club. We don't want to hear that club singing in the church. Tell me exactly what those things are.
mm,
Well,
Tell me what they are.
a lot of
Mhm.
those things in the club, in the church, came from the club, and the stuff that's in the club comes from the church. They are in constant
Yep.
conversation with each other because it's the same clientele.
Absolutely.
If we were really honest, it's the
That's
same clientele. All right.
Same.
So that's why when you break out into that hymn or that praise and worship song in the club, people sing with you because
Yeah.
they're church kids that are up in there.
Yeah.
So the club becomes a congregation.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
in my mind's eye, it was already a congregation, a dancing congregation.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it they're one and the same to me, and they have always been. And as you talk about this bifurcation, NaJé, I can't help but to think about Thomas Dorsey and that tug of war that he had between the church house and the clubhouse,
Yes.
and now that wedding of the two, is what we call traditional gospel. That that you can't escape that marriage. And so when we force ourselves to be one or the other, I think we're missing on the essence of who we are and where our music has come from.
Yeah.
Professor, getting back to some of the things you were saying earlier, I think what you are hinting at as I listen to you talk is this need for those of us who have been entrusted with leadership in our church to be more intentional about our lyrical choices. Okay, that we have to do a thorough exegesis of the text that we sing, the words that we put on the lips of our congregations need to be examined and re-examined and even opened up for possibility for expansion. Okay. And so what does it mean to make these choices on behalf of our congregation, not only from a musical kind of beat, kind of, is this going to make them shout? Is this going to be the song that's going to get the house kind of perspective, versus the seeing music, the music that we sing as a portal of proclamation, and that it is an opportunity for us to preach through music. All right, proclamation not only happens through the spoken word. The sermon is all but of one portal of proclamation, that we see ourselves or to see the music that we sing as another portal for the gospel to be preached through music. Right, and that we employ some of the same modalities and processes and ways of thinking that preachers employ when they construct sermons. Okay, the intentionality behind the text and the history of the text, and then what that history might mean for that particular congregation. Right. I yearn for these spaces. I think we need more spaces where we bring in music ministers and worship pastors, and not only not just teaching them the latest chords, but teaching them how to think theologically about the choices they make for their congregations.
Thinking
Thank you.
theologically. That's
I
good.
love that. I love that. We're going to take a break. And of course, it is Pride Month, so we're gonna get into some Black, queer, and trans artists. We're gonna talk
I'm
about
gay.
By his power device. Is that where you going?
Listen, I changed the words. I changed the lyrics. I said, I'm gay by original design.
Yes.
I'm gay and I let my light shine. My life is sweet and my joy is complete, for I'm gay. I'm gay. I'm gay. Hallelujah.
Period. Big dot.
Hmm?
we will be right back.
I knew that's where she was going. I knew
After
it.
these hair announcements,
I
we'll
knew
be
it.
right back. Hey everyone, thank you again for joining us today. I want to invite you to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. We are at Inspire with Sue W on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on TikTok. Please do us a great big favor and give us a follow if you are not following us already. Also, you can head over to our website at www.getinspired.live. You can find out all about the show, watch all of our previous episodes, and subscribe to our newsletter, because we don't want you to miss anything that's happening with Inspire. Are you or someone you know on a mission to create change while inspiring others to do the same? Well, we want to hear from you. I want to sit across from you in this virtual space on a future episode of Inspire. Visit us at www.getinspired.live to book your appearance today. You can head over to our website, click on Be Our Guest, fill out that guest intake, and a member of our team will get back in touch with you. I can't wait to welcome you to a future episode of Inspire. Camera Solutions, helping you navigate the digital space with confidence. If you know me long enough, you know this is my baby. This is the one that started it all. Kara did turn 6 this year. We are so grateful for your support, and so many of you have told others about us, and we've been able to partner with so many wonderful organizations, individuals, and ministries just by word of mouth. So thank you again. Kara Solutions is a full-service digital agency specializing in helping our clients achieve their goals through consultation and training, content and social media management, graphic and web design, and live stream and podcast production. If you want to learn more, we invite you to schedule a consultation today by visiting our website at www.kara-solutions.com or email us at info@kara-solutions.com. So as always, you know that we are going to do this each and every Saturday. Our sibling and community needs a kidney donor, and I believe that we can do it. Yanni is in search of potential donors who are fairly healthy, have the blood types A or O, the courage to commit to surgery and save her life, and she would love to share the safety measures with you. Alternatively, if you know of a resource, if you know of an organization, somewhere that Yanni could get connected to help make this happen for her, please send that information to us and we'll be sure to get it to her. To contact Yanni and her family directly, you can do so at peacepeopleinc@gmail.com. That's peacepeopleinc@gmail.com. And you can head over to EmeryLivingDonor.org, fill out the survey, and enter her name, Ayana Davis. I believe that we can do this together. All right, it's time to get back to some wonderful conversation with today's guest. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, friends, we are in conversation with Dr. Tony McNeill, NaJé, and Professor Abdul Hamid Royal. You have to correct me, Professor Abdul, if I'm saying it wrong.
It's Royal, but you know, it's like LaCroix.
Yeah, Royal.
Royal. Yeah.
And we've been having a fabulous, wonderful conversation. If you have a question for any of our panelists, please do me a favor, post it in the chat so that, time is already running down, but we do want to give them the opportunity to respond to any of you who are watching today. So NaJé has led us to this point so masterfully. It is Pride Month as well as Black Music Month, and Black, queer, and trans artists have been at the center of Black music's innovation in gospel, house, R&B, hip hop, and more, even when they weren't named or welcomed. And so, and this is for any of you, in the spaces you've served or studied, how has queer presence shaped the sound and the spirit of Black music?
Why did you laugh? I heard that. Well, I mean, let's go to the obvious. I mean, church.
Obvious.
I mean, she is the mother of all giftedness in terms of queer genius in music. I'm not one to start name calling, but I mean, we know. And I often think about, and I see folks post this oftentimes, in the Black church itself, if if all of the gay folk were excommunicated, the impact that that would have on the music, okay,
And
is
the mother's board, and
and
the deacon board,
well,
and the pastoral staff, and the ushers, and the greeters, and the janitorial staff, and the maintenance people, and the
listen, it it is the thing that that goes unspoken in a lot of places, but it's very real. You know, I grew up in small rural North Carolina where it was very much don't ask, don't tell. Grew up in community with other small churches. You know, on Sunday afternoons when you're done with your worship service, there's always a 3 o'clock somewhere where your pastor goes and the choir go. I mean, fellowshipping with those churches, and as we would go around to these churches, and our choir will come and our pastor will come to render service, there were queer folks there as much as it was back home. They were everywhere. I didn't have the language for it, but instinctively we see each other. We do, and especially in places of worship. You know, not to mention these midnight musicals where, you know, there's all levels of connection that's going on musically and non-musically. Let's call a thing a thing.
Yeah.
That there is worship after the benediction.
Hallelujah.
y'all ain't saved. Y'all ain't saved. It's just no salvation. Just no salvation at all.
It's a musical after the musical. I mean, it is. But you know, the church is been an incubator, and you know, and in some cases, in a lot of cases, an abuser, as much as it has been an incubator for queer folks, but has profited and progressed.
Yes.
As a result of our being there. And for those of us that have stayed, many of us have stayed because we love the people and as an act of resistance. And, you know, they're stories that are not so fortunate that could be told as well. But the church is, it's home for us, whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not. NaJé? Go ahead, Professor.
I see you brewing over there, my friend.
No, there's so much. I mean,
it is.
Where to begin? So I mean, in acknowledgement of the month and all of that, I also am in. I guess I need to. Well, you said be who we are and be transparent. So,
yes, absolutely.
I have an issue with the notion of LGBTQI plus only being viewed as a liberating force. My experience has been of those those communities, however that is, as not being necessarily liberating, actually being an arm of white supremacy and colonizing.
Wow.
And my understanding of variance and orientations plural and identities plural, I have begun a very serious decolonial project. I'm going back to the continent. I'm going back to before we were told it was either or, before we were told, like for me. And so the church is also can also be an arm of that kind of binary thinking, and that an unwitting anti-Black white supremacist binary theological ideological notion. So I mean, there is no creativity without the bodies of people who come to the planet and entrusted with, I mean, throughout the art spectrum. It is literally the plan of the divine. Now I'm going to get in some trouble here, perhaps. Oh well. There isn't a single great thing that you can point to in the art world that does not have the import or the imprint of someone who identifies or doesn't identify in a way other than popular culture. There isn't a single place that you can point to, and we don't just need to point to the gospel artists, R&B, and all the rest of that, because I have the sneaking suspicion that the divine has created a special class of people. A special class of people whose job it has always been to stand between worlds. And this is my West African cosmology, whose job it has always been to translate, transmit, transfer these ideas and these notions. All of us, whether we call ourselves something or not, at the end of the day, what has made it possible for just the people on this panel alone to have these conversations is because we have walked between worlds and identities. And so the church isn't any more aware of sexuality than the Black American community is. They are the unwitting participants in a larger conversation about what the African what the slave trade has done to us. Again, these binary ideologies of who we are and all of that. Yeah, I mean, and no, we don't need to call any names, Tony, but I mean, all you have to have is a spirit, first of all, and a set of eyes.
There you go.
I was in a major, I'll say this last thing, I was in a major a place where I was serving. And this particular Sunday, it was the Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve sermon. You had to have at least one because you just had to have it. But I looked at the person next to me and I said, if everybody in this building that identified or understood themselves as something, whether they LG, whatever, alphabet or not, if they turned purple, it would look like Barney in here.
My God.
Because that part of ourselves that we don't, that part of ourselves that is connected and receptive to the divine spirit is what Sean Crawley talks about, the otherwise. It is that part of myself that doesn't think that feminine is bad, that to be soft is bad, to be whatever. And that doesn't translate into my music because the only way you can really be a quote hip hop artist is to be hard. Well, I mean, Little Nas X is sort of blown, I mean, and others, have blown it out of the water. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm so passionate about it because I think that when we're talking about the future of Black music, and the church and communities of faith, the Black community has to have real conversations around what we have misunderstood about everything relative to the human experience around sexuality and sexual orientation. Period.
Point blank. Gooch.
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to close the conversation. I was just
no.
I was kind of channeling my niece.
I mean,
for a second,
but what else? What is there? What else is there to say? Again, it goes back to having that conversation. At the end of the day, it goes back to having a conversation, being willing to learn, being willing to listen. I mean, we're talking about a current culture that. I mean, the hardest nigga at this moment, Lil Boosie. Okay.
Child,
Only person I know, only hetero. I'm so hetero. I'm a straight nigga, right? But you spend more time talking about a community. You are so focused on this one community. You can't have any other conversations about anything else but this one community. Somebody painted their nails. They're posing. You're upset. It's gay. Exactly.
I know. It seems like he's having a conversation with himself.
You feel what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. So, when we listen to the professor talk about how Black Americans, the way that we identify things
Mm.
is so harmful. And I'm not even talking about harm to each other, but just harm to self. The
Mm-hmm.
damaged mindsets
Mm-hmm.
that we have. And some of us refuse. We refuse to learn. We
Mm.
refuse to have the conversation. That has always, to me, my opinion, that has always been the issue when it comes to Black Americans. We find it so difficult to communicate.
Mm.
We find it so difficult to ask questions. But it's even more difficult if you hear an answer that you already thought of what the answer should be, but it's not the answer that you
Mm.
want.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
it's always been the issue, and we're talking about music, but what the hell is music? It's a conversation. It's a way of communication.
Mhm.
It goes back to, it even pulls in our conversation about lyrics, the things that we're saying. What are we relaying through these sound waves? Some things are personal experience. Rappers and hip hop artists, a lot of them really speak on their personal experience, right? You have R&B artists, they speak on their experience. Jazz artists, they speak on their experience. Every artist kind of speaks on their experience. I think I spoke about transparency at the very beginning, and I see it, but sometimes I believe that the transparency is blindsided.
Mm.
And so, again, it disrupts the conversation. And I feel like when you talk about music, you can't talk about music without talking about conversation and communication.
Yeah. 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 Whew. This is so good. Let me just make sure. Yes, NaJé is talking good, real good right now. And I am. Listen, I'm just so full. I'm just like, man, the time is almost up. The time is almost up. I feel like we need a part two because there's so many places that we haven't hit. I know we talked about it at the very beginning in your responses, in your response, Dr. Tony, about Black music as resistance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, some people think that Black music has kind of lost that impact, right? As protest, as resistance. What are your thoughts about that? Do you think it has lost a little bit of it?
Um, I, you know what? I, it's it depends on where you are,
Mm.
and I think it's resonant in a lot of places and less so in others. I have a desire to hear more resistance in our music that we sing collectively in church. I have a
Mm-hmm.
desire for us. I think that becomes the space for us to rehearse. Okay. The protest songs and the songs of resilience and resistance that we need outside of the church. Like Sunday mornings should be part of our worship, should be rehearsing the songs of resistance that we will sing outside of the corporate worship space.
Mm.
Um, and I just wish that more worship leaders would make time during worship to teach songs of resistance that we can hang on to beyond the 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock or 8 o'clock hour on
Mm.
Sunday mornings, that becomes a part of our discipleship, right?
Mm.
Our collective and communal discipleship, that we are arming our congregations and communities with songs of resistance. Um, and that ultimately will help in their spiritual formation and their understanding of themselves as the divine, okay?
Mhm.
Themselves as a worthy people, themselves as people that are worthy to be loved and respected in the wider community. So we need more songs of resistance in our corporate worship settings.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to jump on that?
Tony, can you I want you to go further. Can you talk about singing beyond the preaching? Because again, you said earlier, how do we sing a song of resistance from worship, the worship perspective, when the preaching is about bless me, mine, my blessing is on the way, it's going to turn around in 24 hours. Like, we're talking about prophetic singing that does not follow prophetic preaching, or prophetic singing that is in front of non-prophetic preaching. I really think the conversation has to be had. When you're talking about songs of resistance, where are the sermons of resistance, right? Like, you are the master at this, of creating and producing a worship atmosphere, like a worship culture.
And
And
I think, to your point, Professor, cultivating that culture of resistance is impossible if the sermon and the leadership, the pastoral leadership, is not congruent with that ideology and that theology, as you spoke about. I think it would be a disservice to people for the music and the arts to be in a space of resistance, and the pastor is not. That is a theological tension that will confuse people, that will probably get you fired if you do it too long and in a way that creates tension and dissidence with the preaching. And so it requires that the pastor and the worship leader, the pastor and the worship pastor, have conversation and alignment. That alignment is necessary. It is required. Okay. Your songs of resistance will fall flat. Okay? After that pastor gets up and counters that. Okay. And so it is crucial to have that alignment and to have that that sameness and that understanding that we share this ideology, we share these as values, and so that the music informs the preaching and the preaching informs the music. Okay, that's where the transformation happens, when people see that the two are in dialogue and not in competition.
Oh my God, yes,
Tony.
Okay? So without that alignment and that conversation and that worship planning, okay, that's a part of that it's impossible to cultivate that kind of community.
And you bring you hit it on the head, Dr. Tony. I mean, no lie. I have the privilege, the honor of working alongside Pastor Christian Smith.
Yes.
And I enjoy it. Shout out to TFC.
Absolutely.
I enjoy it. I have never enjoyed, I'm not gonna lie, I have never enjoyed being a worship leader to its fullest capacity before being able to work with Pastor Christian Smith. When I tell you that every time we meet, prior months before, we are in dialogue. The songs that are set up as the playlist for TFC is because me and Pastor done had a meeting.
That's right.
Right? We actually talk about, you let me know what your sermon topic is. Let me know the core of your sermon topic. And every song from start to finish, Dr. Tony has been there. Every song from start to finish is in correlation with what the message is for the people that day. Even if there then becomes what I call an extra divine moment. Where it's not written into the church bulletin of what the format is.
Or the worship plan. Right.
Even if it's not in the worship planning, the divine moment is literally a divine moment, and it does not separate from what that worship planning is.
that's so
And so
good.
I definitely agree that there again has to be conversation and communication between that worship leader and that pastor, but also there has to be an actual relationship between the divine and each leader.
Well,
It has to be.
yeah.
There's no going off script and now you singing songs that don't correlate with the message of the day. You singing Satan, we gonna tear your kingdom down, and the topic for the day is, let's just say, freedom.
Mm.
But you got into this, there has to be a divine connection personally. And so yeah, I totally agree with everything that y'all saying, but I learned that. I learned that previous to working with TFC, it was not that way. People wanted you to sing the top 40. Shout me good. Holla at me. Sing God keeps his promises 50,000 times till you forget how to spell promise. And I want you to take me to the meeting. Well, we ain't learning shit, but keep taking me to the meeting. Right? That's what I want you to do. I want you to keep taking me to the meeting, and we ain't learning nothing, but keep taking me to the meeting because I feel good. But I'm because I feel good, because it's what's popular. And then we can get some content for this because we ain't even hit social media.
Right. Right.
Because music right now, it's easy to become popular.
Oh yeah.
On social media. It's easy to do it. And it don't matter as long as you sing something that the people makes them feel good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Jesus.
Oh, it's rich, Saints. It's rich.
Listen to me. I have one last question for you all, but I know that Pastor Joyce had a question, and I want to be sure that I ask this question of you all as we get ready to close. What song combines the former you and the now you? So that was first for you, Professor Abdul, and then for the remainder of the panel. What song combines the former you and the now you?
I tipped my hand early. I'm still here. It's when I look back over my life and I see all of the things God's brought me through, all of that, been through danger, sickness, and suffering. I thank the Lord. That is still again this notion of belligerent survival, progression, moving through, moving forward, change, and yet I'm still here. That is for me my thesis statement, my theme song. It resonates with me.
Thank you for sharing, Dr. Tony.
Man, I'm trying to think. The one song that comes to mind is "You Are in Air" by Donald Lawrence and the Tri-City Singers. You are royalty, destined to possess the land. You are in air. Embrace your legacy. See yourself in the future. Talks about that Afrofuturism. You are royalty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't
NaJé?
know. I don't know if I could give y'all one, because I had to.
What
It's
one of
really
yours?
Listen,
I was gonna say Dr. Z-Buck.
it's really so hard. Like, it's really so hard to just pick one. But if I had to instantly pick one, it would probably be "New Attitude" by Patti LaBelle.
Come on.
Yeah. I know where I'm going. So
And I know
it
what
would.
to do.
And I don't know what
Me?
to do.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's not verbal right there. Okay.
You hear me? So yeah, if it had to be an instant, spontaneous, which it is, it will probably be "New Attitude."
Yeah. Our final question. Thank you all for sharing that. So let's say a young Black artist, right, is listening or listening right now, watching right now, will catch this in the replay. They might be a choir kid, someone who is just dibble dabbling in producing. It might be a songwriter or a queer church baby trying to decide whether to play it safe or tell the truth with their art. In one sentence, what do you want to leave them with?
Mm. Find a community that sees you for you.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think for me, it would be knowing you.
Mm.
I
Like know yourself.
like knowing who you are.
Mhm.
Yeah, it would be knowing. And I agree, finding that community, but it's hard to find a community when you're not clear of who you are,
Mm.
what you actually need, what your expectations are. And yeah, I don't want to find a community and I don't really know what I'm searching for because I'm not sure of what I need. So I think that knowing who you are, and that takes time and you're going to keep growing, but knowing who you are while in search of finding community is pertinent advice.
It's hard. Process, practice, preparation. The time of preparation is never wasted.
Mm.
Um, uh, and that means that, like, who I am now is, I never saw this version of me, but as a result of doing all of the things that were necessary to become this, um, even in the tough times, the time of preparation, the practicing of identities, trying on things, not being afraid to try things on, and if they don't fit, take them off, um, and try on something else. And then the notion that, I will say this, that for me, my identity is not the primary thing. What I've come to understand is, and this is again my West African cosmology, just to expose my bias, community is the primary value. To
Mm.
be in community is the safety is in the community. Experience is in the community. Support is in the community. Inspiration is in the community. Uh, and that will inspire my identity. But it's we first. We first, that really brings the I
Mm.
forth versus the other way around.
Mm,
That's what it's been for me. And I'm very, very grateful that I've shed the intoxication with self and taken on the corporate responsibility of the we, and out of that, who I am now is so much more than I ever thought. That's what
Mhm.
I would tell a new artist.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you for your honesty, your transparency, your authenticity, your wisdom, and the work that you do in the world. Conversations like this is exactly, why Inspire exists, right? And I know that I'm blessed from this conversation. I know those of you who are watching have been blessed as well. Tell the people where to find you. NaJé, tell people where to find you at.
you could find me in St. Louis. Um, you can find me on all social media platforms. I am NaJé official. So TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. You can also follow my personal page, Naquita Elmore, on Facebook. But I am NaJé official. Or type in "Go Lay Down." I'm sure that face will pop up and guide you. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Right. Thank you. Dr. Tony, where can folk find you?
You can find me on Facebook as Tony McNeill with two L's, Nill. A lot of people leave that second L off. Or Dr. Tony Mac on Instagram and TikTok.
Thank you. Professor Abdul.
I am on Instagram as Abdul Hamid Royal. I am on Facebook as Abdul Hamid Robinson Royal. Um, and other, well, I don't even know what my TikTok is. I don't use it very much. But Instagram and Facebook, you can find me, and that'll lead you to other places.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. To everyone
Thank you.
listening, watching, who will catch this in the replay, thank you for joining us for this amazing panel on the state of Black music. If you heard something today that stirred something in you, I invite you to share this conversation with someone and support this artists and scholars and keep asking what your own soundtrack is saying about your freedom. I want to be sure that you join us next week because we are closing out with our own Bishop Yvette Wonder. We're closing out with her next week, and I'm excited. So I invite you to come back next week and hang out with us. Until next time, I want you to stay lifted. I want you to stay motivated, but most of all, I want you to stay inspired. We will see each other next week. Thank you all.
Thank
Bye.
you.